You may have noticed that I do repeat myself quite often. So one of these days I'm going to start, and one of you is going to finish the story for me. I'm not sure if that's today. I was accompanying a priest in his prayer one time, and he related the story of having some issue, some problem, something to work out in his assignment, and so he told Jesus about it. And then he said, and then Jesus said to me, try this, say this, go over here, whatever that was. And so he shared this story of having some thing, some struggle that he had to deal with, and he related it to Jesus, and then he got an answer. And he was very upbeat about that and grateful. But when he finished his story, I said to him, when you go back to prayer, contemplate these 5 words. Then Jesus said to me. Then Jesus said to me. And when he heard that, this grown man, this competent priest, started crying. He just filled up. Because his attention had shifted from the problem that had to be dealt with to the friend to whom he turned, who came to meet him and help him. Then Jesus said to me, the eternal Son of God, the Savior of the world, was concerned and present and engaged with whatever this thing was going on in the priest's assignment. And Jesus helped. Each one of us has a similar longing to be familiar in an intimate, personal way with the living presence of God. To be Christian is not just to accept certain teachings, to profess a certain creed. We want to know the one whom we profess to be God and Lord. And we want to live in a friendship with him the way that Andrew and Peter and others did, in a real communion of affection and mutual understanding. And when this priest kind of shifted from the problem that had to be worked out to the presence, the actual living personal presence of a dear friend, then Jesus said to me. Right there, he was aware of the affection, the constancy, the support, the delight of Jesus' presence. And so God, he thirsts passionately to make himself known. He wants us to behold him as he is. And he wants us to be able to hear him, to see him, to be touched by him, so that we can have a real relationship, deeper than any other on the face of the earth. And so when God comes to you into your home to talk to you, he doesn't speak Latin or Hebrew, but he can be felt and experienced. There's a whole generation of priests who point to being in Denver for World Youth Day with St. John Paul II as an awakening, God spoke in that moment of their lives. There's a whole body of believers in the church who cried out to God from a hospital room in a prayer of absolute, utter desperation. And then something happened, and they bear witness. God did that. I spoke, and God heard me, and God did that. So God, in his thirst to be known and felt and met, he acts to come toward us in a way that we can perceive and respond to. Now, the gospel is kind of succinct. What are you looking for? Where do you stay? Come and see. It moves along. But it leaves out certain details that I am inclined to fill in. The gospel doesn't actually say this morning, but it could have happened this way. Take it or leave it. Andrew was a man of prayer. Andrew, the fisherman from Galilee, is at the Jordan listening to John the Baptist because Andrew is committed. And he is pleading with God to send the Messiah and Savior. Andrew is a man of faith who has been praying to behold the Messiah. And that's why the fisherman is down there in the desert with the Baptist. Jesus is a man of prayer, whom the gospel describes going off by himself many times to be alone in prayer with the Father. And in his prayer, Jesus asked the Father for companions, for friends, for brothers who would share this life and mission with him. Jesus asked for that from the Father in prayer. So when Andrew hears John say, "There he is, the Messiah," Andrew and his friend are ready. They're ready. They just take off immediately after Jesus. And Jesus notices these two guys following him out of all the people in the crowd. Then they have this dialogue. What do you want? Where do you stay? Come on. And they stayed together. When Andrew saw Jesus, he recognized in Jesus, you are the Father's answer to my prayer. You are the answer. You are the one I've been praying. And when Jesus saw Andrew, Jesus realized, You're the one I've prayed for. You are the Father's answer to my prayer, Andrew. Jesus and Andrew had already formed a friendship in their prayer before they ever saw each other. And when they saw each other, their hearts soared. I know you. I asked God to give me you. And I'm grateful. I'm grateful that the Father heard my prayer. Immediate friendship. You're from the Father. I want to give you a bit of light into the world of priests and seminarians. And the seminarian or priest is really the person who has come to perceive and welcome the love of God in Jesus so personally and so intensely that the only thing he wants to do is to share it. He just becomes restless. The whole world needs to know this Father. The whole world needs to know how much Jesus cares about them. He just can't help it. But it starts with someone like Andrew. You're the one I've been praying for, and here you are. And what does Andrew do? He races off and finds Simon. Come on, come with me. You have to meet him. It's unbelievable. God is so good. Come on. Put that down. Come with me. The seminarian or priest is the one who is so on fire with this friendship with Jesus, the Son of God, that he would not want anyone else to live without knowing the beauty of this friendship for themselves. So much so, he's willing to dedicate his life to spreading that word. Come on, you got to see this. You got to meet him. Put that down. Come with me. It'll change your life. And so that man on fire, he's like Eli with Samuel. I want you to know how to hear the voice of God, speaking in tender, gentle love for you. I want you to know how to trust him, to welcome his embrace, even to see his tears for every burden you have felt. Speak, Lord, your servant is listening. So we find ourselves drawn by a grace of love, by the face of Jesus, his penetrating eyes, and to know that same gift. Then Jesus said to me, I came to God with this thing or that or whatever small or big thing. And then Jesus said to me, He's with me. He's for me. I am His, and He is mine. Then Jesus said to me,